In this week's parsha, Parshat Pinchas, we encounter the narrative about Tzelophachad's daughters. Tzelophachad had daughters whose husbands had died and were not able to inherit their portion of the land according to biblical law at that time. So the daughters came to Moses and said that we need to be able to inherit the land. They stood up against the leader of all of Israel at that time, of the Jewish people, to request something that goes against the current law of the time. We can only imagine the kind of fear that they experienced when they came to approach Moses to ask for the inheritance to still stay in their family. One of the ways that we might understand their ability to stand forward and confront their fear is because they had a fear of something even higher. In Kabbalah, there is the idea of a lower fear and a higher fear. A lower fear is fear of punishment. It's a lot of the anxiety, a fear of a negative consequence. It's a lot of the anxiety and fear that drives us in our lives. But then there is a higher fear. There's a higher fear which is about being in awe, fear of God, not fear of God for retribution, but a sense to say that the source of the universe, the majesty of creation, is so beyond our understanding and comprehension, and we are so not in control of things, that this sense of awe, this sense of fear, is to know that we need to be thoughtful and careful with how we move in the world so that we do not cause more suffering to ourselves or to others. This is the higher fear that I believe that Tzelophachad's daughters had. And even the name Tzelophachad comes from the word tzel and pachad, which means shadow of fear. And from some of the Hasidic masters, especially Rabbi Yitzchak of Berdichev, this higher fear is what the daughters experienced. They realized that there was future generations that were at stake, that if they chose not to act to confront Moses at this time, that there would be deeper consequences beyond what was right and what needed to happen. They had a greater sense of awe. So I want to bless each of us that when we start to feel that lower fear in our lives, of, whether it's anxiety, fear of a bad outcome, whatever it is, to really reflect upon how do we act and move in a way that honors the larger vision, that honors the sense of what God might really want of us in the situation. And can that higher fear be what motivates us to move beyond our lower fear?